I knew this video would come at some point. So, here we go. This is completely unscripted, completely raw, completely unorthodox in some ways, but nevertheless, it has to be said. Dear young furries, if you're watching this, then you're probably looking for answers. Or maybe you're looking for some kind of support, or some kind of clarity, or maybe even some validation. When I say young furry, I'm speaking to you directly. If you are under the age of 18 or 16, depending on what your legal age in your country is, you, young furry who are watching this right now, you are accepted. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. The truth is, we older furries, especially some of us who are gray muzzles or who have been in the fandom for many years, I'm going on 10 years personally, and I think it's important that you hear from us. Those of us who have been in the fandom for a long time, and those of us who are older, that you matter. Sure, it can be really hard to find a place in a fandom or any sort of group that consists mostly of the age range between 18 and 30. If I'm not mistaken, that's the primary demographic of age in the furry fandom. So I can understand your frustration or your desperation, or maybe you even feel like you're misunderstood. There are a lot of furries that are of this age demographic, this older age demographic, who often don't interact that much with the younger furs, the younger generation. And I'm here to tell you that just because you're under the age of 18 or 16 or even 10, heck, if you're even old enough to watch this video, like if you're old enough and competent enough to log on to YouTube and find this video right now, I just want you to know that we see you. I am acknowledging your presence in this very video. I want you to know that just like a lot of us that you may encounter who are older, a lot of us used to be where you are right now. I myself found the fandom when I was 15 years old. When I found the fandom, I didn't know what I wanted to do first. I had no idea what I was even doing. If you're interested in hearing my story, the full story of how I became a furry, then you can check that video right here. But yeah, I was exactly where you are right now. Honestly, there were a lot of times where I was confused, where I felt like I didn't belong, and I felt like I was at a loss because specifically and plainly, I felt like I was too young. I saw this demographic of people in their 20s and 30s and maybe even older, and I just felt like I didn't fit. There were times where I felt desperate. I felt sometimes like I was alone. Like, just because I was young and impressionable, and I felt like at times I didn't talk to anybody because I felt lonely, I didn't know what to do. But it took a lot of effort on my part to find those whom were going through the same feelings and thoughts that I was at that age, from 15 on the way up to 18. And we were able to help each other. We were able to find our niche in the furry fandom without having to go completely rogue or getting into things that we really should not be getting into. I mean, sure, let's be honest. Younger furs, and I'm referring to myself as well, back then, we get curious. And you may do things, I certainly did some things, but you may do things that you're not necessarily proud of. But I want you to know that I was there too. I messed up just the same, probably just the same that you did, or that you're thinking of doing. But I have to tell you that a lot of those things, they just are not worth it. And it's better to find those good, pure, and positive aspects in the fandom that we all know exist still. It's still out there. And we just gotta find it. From my standpoint, ever since I found the fandom way back in 2011, it gave me a sense of belonging. It told me that I was important, that I belonged, that I'm not shunned from this particular area, because just the truth is, if you match the following criteria, then you yourself are a furry. If you like anthropomorphic animals, if you have an appreciation for them or an affinity for them, if you have the willingness, not even the talent, but the willingness to want to create, whether that's your persona, some art, music, videos, maybe even fursuit making, if you have that drive in you and you match all of those criteria, then you are a furry. That is, if you want to call yourself a furry. Some people lie to themselves. They say they love anthropomorphic animals, they have a persona, but they don't call themselves a furry. They're closet furs, okay? They'll come around eventually. Anyway, just because you might run into somebody who says you're not valid, who says you have to be a certain age, who says you have to have a fursuit, who says you have to have a persona, who says you have to have XYZ, or who says you have to have a better persona because the one you have sucks, that person is not your friend. That person just wants to tear you down, or nitpick, or be a jerk, or just judge you just based on your age. The best thing to do is just to walk away from those people. Do not let them influence you. They may say that they're a friend and that they're looking out for you, or that they care about you, or they have some sort of job to do in the fandom. That is not true. To those of you who are doing that to the young people, please do not continue to discourage them. And I want to speak to older furries for a second, especially to the ones who are doing this to younger furs. We need to be mindful, especially to younger furs. We have to be mature and we have to be mentoring to these young people, because the truth is, we're all going to be gone someday. We are the generation to teach the next generation. We are the furs who are the leaders of the younger furs. We are the ones who set the tone and who give the example, who have the glorious and gracious opportunity to just take those young people aside, give them good, sound, solid advice, tell our stories, and most importantly, to love them. Because if we don't, then we end up ruining the fandom for any possible future generation. And then the fandom as us, the older furs, the fandom that we know and we love dies with us. Do we really want that? Do you want that? I don't want that. Let us be good stewards of the fandom. Let's flagship this fandom into the next generation. Let's hear them. Let's listen to them. Let's accept them. Let us be able to be that big furry brother, the big furry sister, the friend, the companion, the father figure or the mother figure to these lovely young people coming up. Because this is what the furry fandom is. We are one big family. Let's not forget about the kids. And to the young furs who would love to commune with the older furs like myself, I'm definitely getting old, so count me into that group. Hold us accountable. Let us know what is okay and what is not okay. Ask us to teach you. Ask us to lead you. You young furry watching this, you are the future leader of this fandom. You may not realize it right now. You may think you're too young or you're invalid. None of that is true. You have the power and the potential to one day be that leader that we should be to you. And you have the opportunity to be talented, to be creative, to be who you are in this wonderful fandom that we call this big family. Only gets bigger every single year. And a lot of you, younger furries, enter it. And in order for us to be a better fandom, to love one another, to show the world that we are that of a giant family who loves each other, even though we have our fights sometimes, any group and any family has some aspect of dysfunction. You, young furry, you can make this fandom better. You, young furry, can steward this fandom and lead it in your own ways that the world has never seen before. And finally, I leave you with a word of caution. Young furry, you watching this right now, my hope and my wish for you is that you would be wise. Be wise with your time. Be wise with your resources. Be wise with the people that you talk to online and meet in real life. And probably most importantly, please be wise of what you look up on the internet. And there is a reason why certain places on the internet have a certain age range. Please be respectful of that rating that says 18 plus. And the reason that's there, the reason that rating exists, is so that you can be safe and especially be careful. Because we care about you. That rating is there because we care about you. And we don't want to corrupt you. Because we need you. I hope that makes sense. And I hope you hear these words and you take that into consideration. I believe in you. I care about you. And I want to see you thrive in this fandom. You, young furry, you're gonna make it. Moth. I think I just swallowed it.